Hey guys, it's Alice. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be on contouring, and the way I do it is with powder. So if you're interested in learning how to contour with powder, then keep on watching, and if you like this video, give it a like and make sure to subscribe on the bottom. So let's get into the look. I like to use powder for contour most of the time, probably because I have oily skin and I never really got into the cream contouring thing. But I also kind of thought about it and I was like, why do I do powder contouring? And it might be because I have a background in drawing, and I guess I've always had to build up the shading when I'm drawing, and then I kind of look at makeup artistry the same way. But I just feel like it's much easier to build your shading than to place your shading and have to blend that perfectly and not really be able to remove what's there already. So as long as you're kind of building, you can gradually build the contour and mistake first, and then go ahead and start to contour again. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start to highlight and also conceal my under eye area. I like to use MAC's Studio Finish Concealer and the Tarte Shape Tape. And really what I'm going to just do is apply the Shape Tape right in this kind of area. You know, nothing new here. It's obvious, you know, you've seen a million videos or a million people doing their makeup and they apply it right in this area. And that's just because you do want the under eye area in that place to be bright and highlighted. So before I go ahead and blend that, I just use this little sponge, by the way, to blend. I'm going to take the Studio Finish Concealer and I'm going to grab a good amount on the sponge, and I'm going to just apply that right under my eyes in a patting motion. And the reason why I use both is because I like to use this sponge to blend. A lot of the liquid product gets absorbed by the sponge, but the Studio Finish Concealer is a cream concealer, so it doesn't absorb as much into the sponge, and you're able to, you know, still sustain that coverage that you're looking for. Using the Studio Finish Concealer is just awesome for getting that brightening effect because it's so opaque. Nothing really shows through. Because it's so opaque, it is slightly, I don't want to say it's dry because it's not necessarily dry, it's just really thick and can be kind of hard to maneuver around on the face and just kind of annoying because you have to sit there for a long time trying to blend it in. So by using something a little bit more emollient like the Shape Tape, you are able to get a little more slip to it and blend it and move it around a little bit better. Be careful around the eyeshadow if you've already done your eyeshadow. So I like to get into these areas as well. You don't want those to be dark. I think a lot of times people forget about the inside part of your, you know, right here where your nose meets your eyes. And there could be a lot of darkness there. So I'm kind of bringing it out towards the temples. And I'm bringing it past my cheekbone actually, because I don't really want it to be, I don't want it to stop so harshly. So I'm just making sure that just like slowly, gradually blends down. So next I'm going to do my foundation. I use the Studio Fix Fluid by MAC. I use NC20 and I mix NC15. And guys, favorite brush ever. So what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing the product from my palette and I'm just stippling it on my face like this. Looks a little crazy. So you just stipple on, stipple on, stipple on. And then once you're done like getting it all on your face, press down a little bit harder and use circular motions to just blend that right into your face. You want to get your neck, your jawbone. It's very easy to blend because it's liquid. I can't get away from this foundation. I don't know. It's like one of those things, it's like I just can't find anything that's better than this. Like there's things that are comparable like the Maybelline Superstay foundation, but contrary to popular belief, it doesn't stay on as well as this. I don't know if that's because I have oily skin, but the Studio Fix Fluid is great for oily skin. High coverage, easy to blend, has the SPF 15, so some people may or may not like that, but I don't have a problem with that. Make sure to blend in with the ears too, because our ears tend to have a lot of redness. And it's very obvious when you have like full coverage that your ears are like bright red and then your face is so even. So I like to just blend all the way down because we have a lot of discoloration in our neck too. I'm going to set my foundation with MAC Mineralize Skinfinish, dust it all over my face. This helps to dry down the foundation and it also gives a really flawless look. So next you're going to use the mid-tone. This is really important to use a mid-tone. This is part of my process, building the contour. So what I do is I just tap my brush, and this is a 150 brush by the way by MAC. I just tap my brush and I tap it on. And I tap it onto the forehead, the hairline, and also right in through the temples here. So basically creating sort of like this thick hair, almost like an arch, let's say, on your forehead. And of course this matters, your face shape matters when you're doing your contour. So with my forehead, it's not huge, it's not small, it's just whatever. So I'm just working on highlighting this one area here. If you have a short forehead, you might not want to do much contouring at all on your forehead, and when you do the contour, make sure it's just the mid-tone and not the deep tones, because whatever is in light is going to come forward and whatever is in darkness is going to recede. And so, you know, your forehead is already kind of non-existent, so why are you going to want it to recede even more? But you do want a slight bit of color on your forehead because, you know, naturally the sun hits the forehead and it is a higher plane of the face, so you don't want to just leave it completely flat because that's also going to just jump out to people. Bringing the product in through right underneath my cheekbone, in between my jaw and my cheekbone is this kind of hollow space, and you're gonna start to pat that right in with the most product on your brush starting here. So I have the most product on my brush now because I just tapped into it, so I'm just gonna start here and bring it down. So this is what I mean by building it gradually. You're going little by little so that, you know, it's kind of hard to make a mistake when you go little by little because you're seeing it as it's happening. So this is kind of building that shaded area, the darker area. I like to do my nose, and I like to kind of like bring the shading in the sides of my nose, because I feel like if it was a natural tan or color from the sun, it would kind of like come down the sides of my nose as well and into my apples of my cheeks a little bit. And you can just notice I'm just doing kind of like swiping motions because I'm using whatever is still on the brush from when I did this. I'm not tapping in right now again. And you're just basically evening out each side. And I like to use whatever's on the brush again and just go in right where the eyes are, on the sides of the brows, and just tap my brush here too. So I think a lot of times people kind of do like this like swirling motion, whereas when you're building your color, you just want to do tapping motions. I like to do a little bit on the chin. And again, whatever face shape you're trying to create is going to be, wherever you're going to put the darker colors is going to depend on that. So let's say if you have a, you know, a double chin or whatever, or you're just not happy with the shape of it, you're going to want to darken up this area underneath the jawline, but you're going to be careful not to make it so dark so that it looks completely different from your face. You're going to blend it, so you're going to start kind of like buffing it up the jawline and down the neck. So buffing it up like this and down the neck like that. then you can go in with the darker color and it's going to be a little more seamless. So next, Give Me Sun. This is by MAC. Love this color because it's pretty warm and it just gives like that really nice warmth to the skin. And I'm just gonna do like a tad bit, not much of this. And just kind of work it in through the face. So this is kind of important to just kind of go with whatever is on your brush and kind of go up into that highlighted area that you would think that you wouldn't even want to touch, but so you don't want to see any harsh edges. And what I'm going to do is kind of like take product off the brush and go in under the eyes as well, just slightly. Not anything to make a huge difference. Which reminds me, I'm going to set my under eye area. It's always good to do your concealer, wait a little bit, and then go ahead and set your under eye area with a translucent loose powder. So, probably my favorite part, just because it just adds that tiny bit that you really need for this. This is Blunt. This is a blush by MAC. I'm going to use, it's pretty much a blush brush, but I think it's the 138. I'm just tapping the tiniest bit onto this tiny tip area, just right here. This is super pigmented, so you really don't need a lot. And then I'm going to even use, and that's why it's looks like kind of brown here, is because I like to take the residual product off of that. I use residual a lot, sorry. But I'm going to start here, right in that middle area, like I said, between the jawbone and the cheekbone, and you're going to flick the product on, like that. And I was just moving my hair out of the way, I wasn't really putting any product on. Same thing, flick. And keep grabbing product if you think you need it, and apply it. But again, the key is to grab it just on the tip of the brush and kind of shake some away. I'm just going to do a tiny bit right here and here in the corners. Now if you have a really big forehead, you're going to want to use more of this because you want more of your forehead to recede back. So, you know, be a little bit more generous than I am with this, but you want to keep it close to the hairline. Tapping the product in. Nose contouring is a whole nother ballpark too, guys, so if you would like to see a video on that, please let me know too. Next, I'm going to grab my contour kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm using the light to medium. And what brush do I want to use? Oh, my new Morphe brush. I'm using the Morphe M510. So I just used this yellow color and this kind of peachy tone in my Anastasia kit, and I'm just generously applying right under my eyes, sort of also setting it. And I'm not really like going down towards my cheekbone area, I'm just staying in this area and like, tiny bit on my nose. And a little bit on the chin. You don't want to do a ton on the chin though, because then that kind of brings your chin forward and it kind of looks like that Jay Leno chin. Which is fine if you're Jay Leno, but we're not Jay Leno, are we? I think I'm going to add a little bit of a shimmer. I'm using the Vanilla Quartz by Becca Cosmetics. Tiny bit. A little bit down the bridge of my nose. Cupid toe. Okay, and I guess I'll just finish the look, guys, while you're here. I already used Feline under my eyes, so I'm just going to go ahead and apply my mascara and my lip. I'm at the blush part of this, and I'm actually using Gleeful from MAC. Is this Gleeful or is that Lovejoy? It's actually Lovejoy from MAC, and I'm just feathering it in right on top of that contour. And so that's how you contour with powder, guys. 3 things to take away from this video is to have a light, medium, and dark, and to gradually build color, making sure not to have a ton of product on your brush. So give it a little bit of a shake before you apply it to your face. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you can learn how to contour with powder by yourself after watching this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, definitely comment them below and I will get back to them. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe below. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you for the next video, guys.